Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women. Let's talk about it. Taylor Swift is obsessed with the fact that several of her exes have moved on to date black women, and she perceives this kind of conquering of Travis as an end or disruption of this pattern, and she's boasting about it in this album.
Okay, so if a black woman or a person of color is telling you that something is racist, something is microaggressive, something is not sitting with them the right way, that is not the time for you as a white person to open your mouth and say, actually, no.
I'm so sorry. This has to be said, though. I truly believe the only reason that Taylor Swift is as famous as she is because the most average, like, unspectacular, boring, victim complex, self-absorbed girls who are so fucking hung up on their middle school boyfriend for cheating on them by the bleachers when they're, like, pushing 40 now, they see themselves in her. They're like, oh, that's me. And if she's that talentless and mid and boring, and she's that famous, she's a billionaire, then that means I can do it too. And it's very disturbing. You guys never do anything provocative. You never actually do anything meaningful. You just kind of like victimize yourself and cry about boys. The world is burning, babe. Hello?
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. It's Ndagero here. Thanks for clicking on today's video. So we're going to be talking about Taylor Swift and how a lot of people are calling her out, especially with this new album that she released. What is more like shocking to me and surprising is I'm seeing a lot of white women call Taylor Swift out. I'm like, wait a minute, because majority of Taylor Swift support or fans are mostly white women. So the fact that they're coming out and looking into their house and be like, wait a minute, something is wrong. This album, something is shady, something is not okay. And they are saying, hey, when a black woman, when a person of color comes out and addresses something towards a white person, that you say something or you do something that is considered to be microaggression towards minority groups, that means they are onto something. And the truth is coming out. People are realizing that Taylor Swift is somehow insecure, jealous, or does not like black women for some reason, allegedly. And with this new album, oh my god, it just puts it on a silver plate, on a silver platter, because everybody's just reading through the lines. But yeah, guys, listen to what people are saying and how even her own white women are calling her out. Come back, let me know your thoughts on it.
Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women. Let's talk about it. Taylor Swift is obsessed with the fact that several of her exes have moved on to date black women, and she perceives this kind of conquering of Travis as an end or disruption of this pattern, and she's boasting about it in this album. Let's start with Opalite, which is very clearly about Kayla Nicole, Travis Kelce's ex-boyfriend, whom he dated off and on from 2017 to 2022, and oh, Kayla Nicole happens to be black. The lyrics in Opalite could actually not be clearly more like targeting Kayla Nicole, right? It references a video that went viral a couple times in which Travis is literally berating Kayla for being on her phone. Meanwhile, she is an influencer, so that is weirdo behavior because she was working and it's very controlling, but it is very clear nonetheless that that video is referenced in Opalite. The lyric reads, you couldn't understand it, why you felt alone, you were in it for real, she was in her phone, and you were just a pose, right? Like, Taylor could not have been more obvious and like less creative here. It's not enough to me that like Taylor is using this like crazy like worldwide medium to best a woman that like previously dated her ex. It's also the fact that like Taylor is fully aware that Kayla has received like relentless and racist harassment, oftentimes terrifying, from Swifties in reaction to the fact that she previously dated Travis. So like this is like purposefully and like blatantly violent. This song accomplishes two things at once, right? It proves the fact that Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women and it endangers Kayla Nicole. But obviously our country is not at its best with critical thinking, so let's like analyze a different part of the song, right? So another lyric says, but I'm not a bad bitch and this ain't savage, but I'm never gonna let you down. So in this song, Taylor positions herself as this like unique, singular white flower that is so different from what? Black culture. And once you step back and realize this song is like final boss pick me X racism, you realize that Taylor Swift is preoccupied with like this obsession with black women, in part because Travis Kelce has predominantly dated black women in the past, and she wants to define herself as different from his past and therefore better. Again, very weird, very pick me behavior. Taylor's not only preoccupied with this idea that Travis has historically dated black women, it's also the reality that several of her exes have moved on from her to black women, and that confounds and ultimately like enrages her, and she's so obsessed with the pattern and the idea that she had to talk about it in this album. Chris, give me examples. Okay, well, we have Harry Styles, who is now reportedly dating Zoe Kravitz. We have Tom Hiddleston, who has moved on to be engaged to and co-parent with a black woman whose name is Zawe Ashton. And then we have Calvin Harris, who went on to marry a black woman named Vic Hope. So it is a pattern, and Taylor Swift is clearly aware of it because she is obsessed with her exes, and all of that together is making me feel very, very strange. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today I'd argue that this idea, the idea that white men have historically left Taylor Swift for black women, is part of her personal mythos, right? I imagine she finds it both confounding and devastating that these men have left her, who is like the pinnacle of Western white beauty, right? She is the ideal white woman. Meanwhile, all of these white guys are leaving her for black women, and I'm sure it's really pissing her off. So when Taylor secured Travis, she achieved the ultimate feat in her mind. She had convinced a white man to leave black women for her, and the mythos is complete. She has disrupted the pattern, she is the queen bee yet again, and this album is all about her obsession with that weird mythos and her obsession with black women. At the end of the day, you know and I know that Taylor Swift is a deeply calculated and intentional person, right? She drew up these lyrics and this 8th grade symbolism very intentionally. It's very red-pilled and incredibly macro-aggressive. So I guess the moral of my story here is you Swifties, the ones who refuse to call her out on her bullshit are the same exact type of white feminist that she is. You protect bigots and you traffic in and enjoy anti-black bullshit. And that makes you a bad person. All right, bye!
Taylor Swift's new album is many things. Unfortunately, good is not one of them. I knew the album wasn't going to be good as soon as the title was revealed, but the promo pics made me curious, so I have listened to the album in full. And now, having listened to it, the album's problem is glaringly obvious. The problem is Taylor Swift is aging out of being a white girl. Before you scroll, let me cook. When Taylor was a teenager, she wanted to be a pop star, so her parents decided to take the country route. Keep in mind, this is the 2000s. Pop music was highly sexual, it was sleazy, and then you had things like bling rap. It's not a place for a little white girl. Country music, on the other hand, loves a little white girl, and she's blonde, they'll eat her up. So her family moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee to launch her country career. That's why for the first several years of her career, she faked a southern accent. She was trying to fit in, seem authentic. Once the pop landscape started to change the late 2000s and early 2010s, that's when she started to transition to making pop music. And now to talk about white girls. White girls don't have sex. They don't know what that is. White girls they're cute, they're adorable, they're like dolls, they're precious, they have to be protected. Do you remember a couple months ago whenever parents would bring their kids to Sabrina Carpenter shows and then act aghast because Sabrina Carpenter, who is a highly sexual artist, was referencing sex on stage? Of course they were, because how could a short, cute little white girl who is also blonde, a blonde, cute little white girl, how could she possibly know what sex is? It's the assumption. Women having sexual freedom and willingly engaging in sex is highly associated with blackness. You can see this most clearly when it comes to things like Disney and Nickelodeon stars. Miley Cyrus, she was Hannah Montana, all-American girl. And what does she do whenever she wanted to shed the Disney image and say, hey, I'm not just a little girl anymore? She releases Can't Be Tamed in bangers. Ariana Grande, another cute little white girl. What does she do whenever she wants to shed the childhood image? She releases Dangerous Woman in Sweetener. They would do things like hang out with rappers. They would incorporate black music styles into their own music. So that way, whenever they'd be sexual, it's like, oh, I'm not just a little white girl anymore. And over time, they would drift away from that because that wasn't who they authentically were. They were just using that as a way to escape the chains of being a white girl. Taylor Swift has never had to do that, and why would she? She makes being a white girl so fucking profitable. And the thing about Taylor Swift is that being a white girl is not just profitable for her, it's her entire brand. Because she's just so awkward. And whenever she dances on stage, she's bad because she's awkward. And she loves cats and baking and hanging out with her fans. And she would likely continue with this forever, except for one small problem. Taylor Swift is 35 years old. And it's not like she's showing signs of aging or anything, but the brand of being a white girl is very much being a white girl. What happens in a few years whenever she's 40? What happens whenever she starts to get wrinkles? Once you're middle-aged, it's not cute anymore to be awkward. So she's aging out of being a white girl, but she doesn't have a brand or really even a sense of self outside of being a white girl. Also, low-key, this is the entire key to her relationship with Travis Kelce, which is not going to go well, but that's a story for another day. And keep in mind, the world has been moving on. An artist like Sabrina Carpenter could not exist 10 years ago. There was nowhere in the pop landscape for her. For a cute little white girl who's that sexual. It didn't exist. And then on top of that, things have been rapidly changing politically. So people want different things from women now. And the life of a showgirl is a testament to Taylor's inability to rise to the occasion. Like on the song Wish List. Oh, everybody wants bright lights and designer things, and they want a fat ass. But me, then we get to the chorus, but me, I just want to have all of your kids. I want to have all of your kids, and then I want to live in a house, and I want the driveway to have a basketball hoop in it for our kids. And Taylor's personal struggle between her being her own woman and her being a cute little white girl is really embodied by the song Wood. It's called Wood because it's in reference to Travis Kelce's, that. But the song isn't sexual at all, because the song isn't about sex. It's about a woman justifying the fact that she has sex. The song starts with her picking petals off of a daisy. Oh, he loves me not. Taylor portrays herself as being super insecure until Travis Kelce digmatizes her and opens up her eyes. And keep in mind, white girls cannot be sexual beings. It's not that she has sexual feelings, it's that a man came along and unlocked it in her. The curse was lifted. You see, you guys, it's not about sex at all. It's about love. His love was the key that opened my thighs. I don't have sexual feelings. I'm just a little white girl. Because this album is supposed to be her embodying her sexual energy, thus life of a showgirl. But Taylor either feels unable or isn't willing or whatever it is you want it to be. Taylor doesn't actually embody it. She doesn't explore it because the embodiment of her sexual energy would come at the expense of the brand of Taylor Swift. It's seemingly not compatible, or at least she thinks, or her team thinks, that it's not compatible. So she has to be her own fully embodied grown woman in order to keep up with the times, but she also has to be like a cute little white girl in order to keep up with the brand of Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women just like the world is obsessed with black women. Our intelligence, our resilience, our swag, our bodies, our culture. And to be a black woman is to be gaslit every day, to be made to believe like they don't give a damn about us, when really they cannot stop giving a damn about us. That is why everything we do is policed and critiqued. We talk too loud, we're too angry, we wear too much makeup, we wear too much weave, we want to be seen. Just grooming ourselves makes us want attention. By simply grooming ourselves, everything we do is under a microscope, because they are obsessed with us, and they will gaslight us and try to make us believe that they really don't acknowledge our presence. But our presence is undeniable. To be a black woman, you must know this. You got to know this because you got to keep on shining regardless of what these people are going to try to convince you of.
Taylor Swift knows she's not Travis Kelce's type, and that's what the album gave me. So not only was the album trash and the lyrics were trash, it gave, I'm jealous because I'm not my future husband's type. You look at his dating history, you see all these beautiful women. You look down her dating history, you see all these mediocre looking men, and then you get to the end and Travis is her best pull. Her best pull. You look at Travis's dating history and she is his worst pull. And she's insecure because she knows that the entire internet, everyone can see that he settled for her looks-wise because she's a very famous singer and a billionaire. Which, honestly, that's game. And game recognized game. So, whatever. But she's very, very insecure about it. And that's all this album gave. Like, I'm jealous and I'm insecure, but I want to have your babies and you're mine and your dick is so big. And I was just like, is this Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter? And I can't even compare her to Sabrina Carpenter because that would be so insulting to Sabrina, because that's Sabrina's niche, that very sexualized pop, and she eats at it. It seemed like Taylor Swift was taking a page out of her book, but then using like a Blake Lively view on it. I'm blonde and I should be the one that you want, and like I have you, but my mind is elsewhere. I don't know. She was just a fucking mess.
Yeah, I mean, I welcome the chaos. The rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping. And art, I have a lot of respect for people's subjective opinions on art. I'm not the art police. It's like everybody is allowed to feel exactly how.
Taylor Swift has the fame and popularity that she has today mainly for two reasons. Number one, she's a mediocre white woman. And she reminds other mediocre white women in J.Lo that not only is mediocre okay, but it can get you very far. And I know what you're going to say, oh my God, but she's an amazing songwriter, singer, but I'm going to hold your hand with a napkin in between when I say this. She's been writing about the same thing for 20 years. If I were writing about the same thing for 20 years, I should be pretty good at it too. I don't And not only has she been writing the same album, different font for 20 years, but nothing about her has improved. Her dancing is still the same as it was 20 years ago. Again, she's writing about the same thing. She literally has not improved in any way in her career. And why is that? Because she's a mediocre white woman, and y'all will praise her for being a mediocre white woman. She knows she doesn't have to do anything more. Whatever she does, whatever she puts out, y'all are going to buy it. Number two, and I know y'all are not ready for this one, but Ready or not, here I come. Y'all still see her as a little girl who was bullied by the big scary black man on the VMA stage in 2009. Now, friendly reminder, multiple things can be true at once. Kanye was dead the fuck wrong for doing that in that moment, and at the very same time, y'all have been infantilizing and coddling this woman since it happened. That's also why y'all feel the need to constantly compare Taylor Swift to Beyonce, because in that moment, Kanye was praising Beyonce over Taylor Swift, and so since that moment, y'all have felt the need to protect Taylor Swift and defend her virtue and prove why she deserved that award and other praises over Beyonce, and have never let Beyonce know a day of peace, even though number one, Beyonce was mortified in that moment and did not want Kanye to do that, and number two, when Beyonce was on the stage, she brought Taylor back on the stage to give her her moment. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and if you disagree with me, I could not give a fuck less. Hope this helps. Peace and love. Talk to you later.
She wrote a whole song about Travis Kelce fucking her brains out, and I guess he actually did, because that was the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. I'm not a Swiftie. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. But, like, I liked, you know, those first couple albums, the first 2 or 3 albums when she was faking a country accent. You know, those ones were good when I was 10. They were wonderful, amazing, beautiful. I still listen to them. I thought people were joking about how bad the album was. I thought that these were AI songs. All the little clips I was seeing, I was like, oh, this has to be AI. This can't be real.
Hey, so if a black woman or a person of color is telling you that something is racist, something is microaggressive, something is not sitting with them the right way, that is not the time for you as a white person to open your mouth and say, actually, no. Yes, I'm talking about Taylor Swift. I'm talking about the critique surrounding Taylor Swift. I know we're tired. I know it's been talked about ad nauseum, but I do think this is really important, and it's something that we should continue to talk about. So one side of the criticisms about this album are related to stylistic choice, vocals, musical composition, right? People can have their opinions on that. What I want to talk about is the critiques of the lyrics, and specifically the way people are critiquing the racist and microaggressive undertones that are within the lyrics. And a large majority of the people calling that out and noticing that are black women and people of color. And I am seeing white women like myself commenting back on a lot of those critiques saying, but she didn't mean it in this way. And you're reaching and you're looking too far into it, and it's not racist. Like, how could she be racist when in her music videos she surrounded herself with people of color and she endorsed Kamala Harris for all of these people are making excuses like this for a person that they don't even know. It's so wild to me. When a black person or a person of color says that something is racist, that is not when we go, hey, actually, no. We have to sit with that and reflect and go, why didn't I think of it that way? How can I do better in the future? How can I call this out? How can I, et cetera, et cetera. There is work that has to be done. If your first instinct, when a black person or a person of color says something is racist, if your first instinct is to say actually or but, there is work that needs to be done. It's so disheartening to me to see people defend this album and defend a billionaire with their whole fucking life when there are so many other people that energy could go towards, particularly people of color. Like, people of color are being unalived. They are being abducted in the streets. They are abroad and domestically are experiencing violence on insane levels. And so many people have not had the energy or the intensity in speaking about those things, but when it comes to Taylor Swift, they are fighting for their lives in the comment section. We should be fighting for our lives in the comment section when it comes to trans people, violence against black people, immigrant rights, Palestine. These are things we should be fighting for our lives for in the comment section. These are things we should be going out and protesting, rather than like going and defending a white billionaire who you've never met. Anyway, this is the last show I'm going to say on Taylor Swift because she doesn't deserve my time, energy, the space on my phone anymore, because it just makes me so fucking grossed out the way people are invalidating black women when they say something is racist. It's so like, white women, we need to have a chat like us and stop relying on black women to do all of this work and hold all of this burden for us to then go back and invalidate them. We have work to do.
Taylor Swift has revealed herself to be resentful of Black women, or at least deeply insecure when it comes to comparing herself to Black women. In the song Opalite, Taylor is referencing Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole. The lyrics of Opalite include, "You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night, but now the sky is opalite." So Taylor is not only using the lyrics in the song to talk about how she is so much better for Travis than his ex-girlfriend is, which is inconsiderate on its face. What did that lady ever do to you? But she is choosing to do that using the imagery of onyx, which is typically black, and opalite, which is typically white. Or in Eldest Daughter, Taylor says, "I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage, but I'm never gonna let you down." The language of bad bitch and savage are primarily associated with Black women, at least in this context, especially Black women in hip-hop. Both make me think of Megan Thee Stallion immediately. And there were rumors that Travis was trying to holler at Megan back in 2023, shortly before Travis and Taylor started dating. So I read this lyric as, "Sorry, I'm not a hot, cool Black woman like he usually dates." Or in Wishlist, she says they want a fat ass and a baby face. Big booties are not unique to Black women, but if we're all being honest here about the associations of Black women's bodies over the last 400 years, big booties are and have been associated with Black women. Now, could I understand why Taylor might be insecure about this? Yeah. Knowing that thousands, if not millions of people are looking at your man's exes and then looking at you like, huh? Would make me insecure too. But to be even relatively conscious of the trope of white men dating Black women until it's time to settle down and have white babies, or the trope of men dating Black women until they get richer or more famous, or to know the way that Kayla Nicole has been dragged to hell and back because her high-profile ex, a white man, started a very public relationship with one of the biggest pop stars in the world, a white woman, and how many people hurled racist jokes at her and Black women generally for it, to know all that and still dunk on her one more time to your millions of loyal fans. For this to come up on at least 3 different songs in one album, for her to play into harmful tropes that she has to be aware of, and for so many of Taylor's fans to not notice or just not care, this album is simply not for me. There is enough thinly veiled racial resentment in the world toward Black women. I don't need it in my pop bops.
This is what privilege looks like. Sold 2.7 million albums in 24 hours, despite the only thing that we've been hearing about this album is white rage. Her fans saying that she did not eat and it did not do what it was supposed to do. I also want to be clear that her fans are saying that she is politically aligning herself with conservatism based on how she rolled out this album and the messages that come to people throughout the album. Mind you, a lot of why people have loved Taylor Swift is because she's been known to be a feminist and a girl's girl. However, she chose to announce her album on her fiance's podcast, who said that he was honored to play in the NFL for the president. From what I hear, there's even a line in there about wanting to have babies with Travis Kelce and have their entire neighborhood looking like him. A white man. Yet and still, she was able to sell 2.7 million albums in 24 hours. Let me introduce privilege, ladies and gentlemen.
As we've seen in the video, that is what people are saying. And like I said, it's shocking and surprising to me that white women are literally coming out in full, in big numbers, calling out Taylor Swift. And I feel like they have been treating Taylor as this 19-year-old, as this teenager, but hey, this lady is actually in her 30s. She's soon to be in her 40s, but she has kept this persona of, I'm an innocent girl, I'm an innocent white girl, you know, I'm fragile. And then with this album, it's like she got into a relationship with this person that she's with, and now she's like seeing the world and, you know, being adventurous and growing to be like mature and all that, which just sounds like, what do you mean? You're 30-something. You're 30-something, you're not a teenager, you're no longer in high school, you're not in your 20s. What do you mean this man just came and, you know, lifted you up and just opened all the keys and you are able to open your, like, I'm sorry to say, but open the legs and whatever. Like, if you listen to the songs, it just sounds like, I'm an innocent girl, I'm not a Black woman, like, you know, I'm innocent. And it's just like, why are you being microaggressive? Like, why are you even involving us in your relationship as black women? Because what? Especially now that the person that she's with, like his type is or has been black women. Maybe that was a trigger to probably Taylor to feel like I need to probably talk about this so I can show that I'm the one that won. I got the ring, they didn't. Like, hey, I'm the one with the ring, and yeah, this man is this ABCDE, and he chose me over you. You should know your place as black women. That at the end of the day, they always come back to us, and yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. And it's just like it's crazy. It's just so insane. But I love that a lot of people are calling out this uh this behavior, because when it comes to celebrities, it's like people excuse them and see, like, people see the career, that's the persona they give them, but then when you look at the person for who they are extremely different. The best example I can give in terms of the black community is Hailey Bailey. Like, she's this sweet, innocent, little mermaid, but then when you look into her personality, she's like this tough lady that is like, don't play with me, don't play with me. So that's how we need to see people. Like, okay, you have a career, you've built your career of being this innocent Taylor Swift, this innocent girl, but why are you now using that as a power force to attack other groups of people? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And it's like, they know when I do this, or when I write this kind of like lyrics and bring out this kind of album, people don't say anything or look into it. But it's just been different, especially now in 2025. People are so sensitive. People really put in time and listen and look at things for who or what they really are. So if people are coming out and saying Taylor Swift has an issue with black women, it is true, because those lyrics, that album just speaks, I hate black women, and it's like she's not even happy with the person that she's with, because she knows she's not typically his type, but for some reason they just have to be together, maybe for money purposes, I don't know, maybe for exposure, maybe for the cloud, I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, that's what people have to say. And I love the energy people are giving. Like, celebrities have to be held accountable for the actions and the things they do, because they have bigger platforms, and we cannot just let them promote hate and get away with it. Like, Taylor is not the same innocent girl that Kanye went and attacked at the words. Like, I'm sorry that happened, but she's a grown woman now. She can fight for herself. Like, she's no longer this baby. Like, she's growing and she has grown, and I feel like her music has not also evolved, because you can't just be in one kind of specific genre when you're aging. So if she reaches 40, is she still going to be singing still as a teenager? Like, is that even normal and okay? And act like you are this clumsy, awkward, like little teenager white girl? Like, it's just weird. But hey, I digress. But yeah, you heard what people had to say. Guys, get in the comments and let me know what you think about this. Yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in another video. Bye.